actually a working student. Media.
All right, so let me get started. I just need a little video clip from my website. It will take me about 10 minutes. So in the first 10 minutes, please ask all the easy questions and keep the tough questions for later. Okay, tonight we're going to talk about risk and return. Okay. This is chapter 7. Okay, so first of all, what is your impression about the relationship between risk and return? What's the association between risk and return?
Usually the higher the risk, the higher the return.
Yes. Let's take a look at some empirical evidence here. In chapter 7, if you look at page 157, 157. Okay, if you look at the top of the page, well, it's an interesting picture because the question is, if you had invested $1 at the beginning of the 20th century, in 1900, if you had invested $1 back then, the question is, how much would it have been by 2006? If you invested $1 for over 100 years. So if you had invested in common stock in 1900, by 2006, that $1 would have been how much? $14,000 approximately. Right? If you had invested in bonds, that $1 would have been $242. If you had invested in T-bills, it would have been $71. All right? Over a long period of time, over 100 years. Okay. Now you may say, well, this is not realistic because it's such a long time, and $1 today is obviously not the same as $1 100 years ago. So what you have to do is you have to adjust for inflation. Okay, let's take a look at the second picture, second graph. This is when you adjust for inflation. If you adjust for inflation, then the return that you would get from your common stock investment would have been only 582. But remember, you invested $1 only, and it would have been $582 adjusted for inflation. So it would have been $9.85 for bonds and $2.88 for T-bills. So the return would have been highest for common stock, second highest for bonds, and the lowest for T-bills. Okay. So what am I trying to explain here? If you look at these three securities, common stock, bonds, and T-bills, which is the most risky? Common stock. Which is the least risky? Okay. So what does it tell you about risk and return? Yes. The riskier the security, the higher return you get from the security. Right? So this is empirical evidence over a very long time, over 100 years. Okay. So we look at this over time, over a long time. Now let's take a look at this geographically. Let's take a look at geographical variation. Look at page 161. Okay. You're going to see this graph. You see this expression, risk premium. Have you heard this expression, risk premium? What does it mean? the risk premium? Anyone with a background in finance? Have you heard this? No? Okay. The risk premium is the return that you get. Let me write down. It's the rate of return. It's the rate of return above and beyond the risk-free rate. So, for example, if the risk-free rate is 5%, right, and you get 10% in return from your stock investment, then the risk premium would be 10 minus 5. It would be 5% over. That's what we call a risk premium. All right, let's take a look at this picture here. You see the risk premium in different countries, right? This is over a long period of time, 1900 to 2008. You can see which countries offer the highest returns. You see the top 3, top 4 there: Italy, Japan, France, Germany. Okay, these are the top 4 countries here. What do they have in common? If you look at these countries, the top 3, top 4 countries, you see anything in common? Why are they offering such high returns? Historically. Anything happened in these countries in the 20th century? Yeah, I think Italy lost the war, World War II. Japan already was devastated by the nuclear bombs. France was actually a winner, but remember, France was occupied by the Germans, so technically they won the war, but the country was devastated. And Germany obviously lost the war, so these countries that were severely devastated by World War II. Okay? Now, let's take a look at page 167. Now, if you get $100,000, you are very happy, right? Suddenly you have $100,000. You are happy. On the other hand, if you lose $100,000, you are very sad. That's a big loss. But psychologically, if you are risk averse, the pain that you would get from losing $100,000 is much more severe than the happiness that you would get from getting $100,000. That's what we call risk averse. The theory is there to minimize the loss, the potential for losing money. Although the compromise is you wouldn't gain as much, but it protects you against potential losses. And if you are risk averse, you rather protect your risk investment by not having a loss, by sacrificing some of the potential outside potential. So it's psychological. If you are risk averse, then you care a lot more about the potential